Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. So, first off, I have a new webcam, which is a Logitech blah, 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 Rio, and first time using it. So, let me know if I think it looks clearer than usual. Uh, I've got my 4K Sony camera here. But sometimes I like to, for things like this, I want to use a webcam. And so I thought I would get one in 4K also. When you're a multimillionaire, you can afford to buy lots of stuff like that. Anyway, this is kind of like, I don't know if some of my older viewers might remember, I used to do a series called Bad Grammar, which I, for the most part, kind of stopped doing. Not that I won't ever do it again. And I would read comments and sometimes, make funny remarks about them, or some were serious though too, and they weren't all bad comments or even bad grammar. It's just what I call it, series. So in the past month or so, I gathered up just a handful of comments that I thought were interesting to read, like this one. Boring. Thank you. I've been called many things on YouTube, but seldom boring. So here we go. That's near the end of the video. I'm going to move it to the start. And also, by the way, Molly is on her way for us to go to Toronto tomorrow to see a band called Sparks for the third time since 2022. And I've seen them, I think 6 times in total since 1982, and I've been a fan. There they are there. I've been a fan since 1974. There they are. The two brothers, Ron and Russell. So here's the first comment. It's for, a video about David Bowie. David Bowie is like a walking case of rabid AIDS. He's just creepy. I've always said that he's creepy. How the F do people worship that? I'm not even going to say that word. Honestly, his music isn't even good. I have said that for many, many years. I even made a video about it. Maybe, and by the way, I am joking, because some people, I did this Beach Boys reaction, and at one point I said, I was joking about Mike Love and saying Mike Love was the Beach Boys, and some people, not everybody, but some viewers took it seriously and they got mad at me. So I'm joking. I love David Bowie. Maybe a couple early songs are decent, but even those are weird and not in a good way. Sounds like the kind of person you'd want as a friend. Next up. I think I'll ditch music discussion. I just find it boring. Endless variations on I like this or I don't like that. It's like trying to discuss scratch and sniff books. I don't understand. It's like, just don't watch the videos. Why even leave a comment? But some of us like to say we like this and we don't like that. And I like watching, those kind of videos too. Okay, yeah. This was for, I think, the worst albums in my CD collection, and I had a couple of, Lou Reed albums, even though I'm a big Lou Reed fan, but I've got all of his discography. Dude, why do you keep buying Lou Reed albums? Also, The Shags was actually issued on CD. I get it has some kind of cult status, but still. Dude, I love the music of Lou Reed. If you don't, that's fine. We can all like what we like. And he replied, well, it just seemed like many of his albums made your worst list. Yes, 2 of about 40. Hello, Larry. Halo, Larry. I think the psychiatrist could coordinate, I think it means, patients to see your YouTube videos, because one gets very happy when one sees your videos. That is true, but sometimes people get bored too, as you will see, or you already did see. But like I said, I get a lot of really nice comments, and I always want to show a few, so it's not all negative. Now, this is about The Who. When I did a recent reaction video of them performing live, Pete Townsend is the guy who wrote "Hope I Die Before I Get Old," and now it's coming back to bite him in the ass. It's like, yeah, he wrote that song when he was in his early 20s. And, people change through time. Maybe at this point, when he's older, he doesn't want to die. And sometimes, just because you write something doesn't mean you mean what you're writing. I'm sure he did kind of mean it, though, at the time. Is anybody bored yet? Let me know in the comment section below. Stop bitching. This is about my reaction to the Beach Boys live this year. Stop bitching. You're profiting from these great musicians and not showing them any respect. Ignorant comments. Why don't you save your comments for Taylor Swift? And by the way, that video, I'm not really profiting from it. The person that posted the concert of the Beach Boys, that person's getting a good chunk of the money. Which he should. It's his video. And he even left a comment. But yeah, stop bitching. Ignorant comments. This is for Frank Zappa music short I did. Lousy guitar player. Sorry to hear that. I hope you improve with your playing in time. Thank you. He never replied. That's what I love when I do reply like that. Excuse me. I would say 95% of the time I never hear from them again. Another one about Frank Zappa. I don't get Frank's music. I've got an idea. Don't click on a video of an artist you don't like. Go watch something you enjoy. I hope he took my advice. You must have the greatest collection of music in North America, and your taste is perfect. I've always said that. Thank you. I wouldn't say my taste is perfect. It's perfect for me. Might not be perfect for other people. Yeah, this is for a Pink Floyd video I recently did. I never liked them. See, that's bad grammar. The Syd Barrett, even spelled his last name wrong. The Syd Barrett era sounds laughably dated and kitsch. And by the time they made it big in the early mid-70s, their music was really not anything different from typical 1970s soft rock like 10cc or Fleetwood Mac. I love 10cc, and Fleetwood Mac's great too. Just dressed up with cool sound effect and pretentious lyrics, philosophizing about the world. Maybe that Dark Side of the Moon is so big musically, it's inoffensive soft rock, but it has this arty-farty aura about it. Ah, boy. And this is for a YouTube short I did with Keith Moon doing a drum solo. That night, Moon the Loon was too out of it, T.O. To do a proper solo, so did a shit one instead. Moon was a great drummer, but drugs and alcohol wears on the body, makes you slower. He lost his zing, then death. Moon, 3 drugs killed him, drugs to stop him taking alcohol. Alcohol he took that night and cocaine. He was there, so he must know. A deadly cocktail. He knew he was weak. The drugs got the better of him, and I replied, calm down and take your meds. I'm a big fan, Larry, but not a fan of your inductory music because I often listen, the little intro, because I often listen to your content as I'm drifting off to sleep. Most people do, and they fall asleep within a couple of minutes, and use it to help me fall asleep. But the loud intro music, it's distracting and unpleasant, unlike you. And, at the time I wrote, the intro is a tribute to my 2 cats I lost. So I'm keeping it in, thanks. Just turn the volume off when you start my videos. But, I did a poll in my community, and most people like the intro. Like, I think it's at 60%. And then there's a certain percentage that don't want an intro. And then there's another one without the loud, the music. So I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know. I do know that, like I said, more than, 60% like the intro. So we'll see. But I will try and at least turn down the volume of the music. I didn't realize it was that loud for some of you. But, I haven't had that many complaints about it. All right. Yeah, this is about mono. Why anyone would prefer mono over stereo is perplexing to me. Stereo, imagination, mono, no imagination. That's fine. Then go listen to stereo. Some people like mono, including me. So I guess in the 60s, like Sgt. Pepper, the Beatles had no imagination because, of the mono, which was mainly for. There it is. Boring. Remember to like this video if you find me boring. I'm going to get so many likes. Who's the bigger clown, Mike Love or this channel? I win. Thank you. You make me laugh out loud. Thank you. You too are a hoot. Thank you. No, like I said, I get, very nice comments, and I really do appreciate them. Another one. This channel is like the Beatles of YouTube, variety-wise. And none of these comments go to my head. I just want you to know. We're almost done. How about a video about top 10 shortest songs ever? Yeah, this is Chris on the keys. And I think that's I did reply to, one thing I do for most comments, unless they're like nasty, is I try my best to heart everybody's comment so they know that I've read it. Occasionally I will reply. And, I go on other channels, I'm subscribed to, just certain channels that are usually bigger channels than mine. But, and I'm not saying like Rick Beato, because there's no way he could, heard everybody's comment, but he gets so many. But just, about the same size channels mine, or maybe a little bigger. And, I'll leave a comment and I'll check back in a day or two, and they haven't even hearted any of the comments or replied to anybody. And I just think that's rude. This is the final one. I'm not a big fan of U2 right now, but here we go. U2's Pop, and this was for my Does This Album Suck? U2's Pop, and it doesn't, but it's not one of my favorite albums. U2's Pop was a masterpiece, one of the greatest albums of the 1990s. And I'm not going to read all of this because it will bore you, but I'll just go to the end, and you can, pause the video if you want to read it all. The leap U2 made between Rattle and Hum and Octung Baby between 1988 and 1991 was as if 100 years had passed. The world was stunned. It was spectacular. Pop is an extraordinary album, and it has aged wonderfully well among U2 fans. It sounds as fresh as if it were recorded yesterday. A masterpiece that will endure forever. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the middle part. U2 surpassed the Beatles. Excuse me, they weren't brave enough to risk everything the way U2 did in the 90s. They never changed their sound as radically as U2 did, and successfully. They never went into the 70s changing their sound as drastically as U2 did into the 90s. And I did reply, and I said, first of all, the Beatles were done in very early 1970s. So, and I think they did kind of radically change their sound from, the early 60s to 69 or 67. You know how they just changed with basically every album, is what I was trying to say. So yeah, that's the last comment. And now I'm done. So I will be gone for a couple of days. Don't cry. Please, if you're bored, check out some of my older videos. And if you do and you leave comments, I always read them. And I'll try my best to heart them at some point. So thanks for watching. Please remember to like the video. Leave a comment below. And make sure you're subscribed to both of my channels. Bye.